What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 4 of Wrestling with Tragedy. Guys, first and foremost, thank you so much for following us to this new and crazy venture that we've all come together and really tried to make happen. You guys have been sharing, liking, viewing, and it really means a lot to us. So, first and foremost, thank you to all of our viewers for checking it out and supporting us. Before we get started, guys, just want to take a quick second to plug some of our amazing sponsors we have that make this show so great. First of which being Paradise Customs. Paradise Customs is a custom leather business that takes care of all your leather needs for these beautiful things hanging behind me. Check it out, guys. When you order that belt from WWE Shop or wherever you get it from, nobody wants that thick, bulky cardboard strap. So send it on over to Paradise Customs. Tell Chris Nichols that Wrestling with Tragedy sent you. It's not going to do anything for you, not going to do anything for us, but we just love when people talk about us.
It strokes our ego.
Absolutely. Next is going to be Immortal Restoning. We've taken care of your leather needs. Now let's talk about your restoning needs. You got any belts that some stones have fallen out? Maybe it's not looking its tip-top shape or just needs a good old-fashioned facelift. If that's the case, send it on over to Immortal Restoning. That business is owned by Mr. Jeff Parthay, who is known in the belt collecting hobby as Mr. TV Accuracy. He's going to treat you right, and he's going to give you the fairest price you'll find.
Does he do kidney stones? Because I have some kidney stones.
He might be able to do some kidney stones. I'll call and ask him. Next one, guys. If you don't have any belts and you want to get your hands on some, check out My On Belts on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere social media applies. You can find My On Belts. Eddie and Ira Williams are the business representative for that company, and they are the most easy people to work with.
Yeah,
guys.
And Eddie's a great guy.
Absolutely. I've got 4 kids. I've got a wife. I've got a mortgage. I've got a car payment. And Eddie still finds a way to get me my belts with payments as low as $20 a week. $20 a week until the belt's paid off. You can't beat it, guys. And lastly, for me, it's going to be A-Rock Designs. This is my wife's custom business where she makes all those cool little wrestling cups you guys see floating around, like this Bullet Club tumbler. So if you want anything wrestling related or not wrestling related, any custom designs, if you can think it, she can make it. She can even monogram your dog. I don't recommend it, but like Ted DiBiase said, everything's got a price. That's a joke, guys. Don't send us your dog.
I was just thinking about toilet seats. Does she do toilet seats? I definitely need a Kingpin toilet seat.
Oh, my God.
It'd be fitting that it'd be on a toilet.
I was going to say that's the only way he'd get a girl to sit on his face. But anyway. So, guys, we are back again with another amazing episode of Wrestling with Tragedy. We're going to go around the table, introduce ourselves. Starting out, my name is Kevin. I run Wrestling Review Society on Facebook and YouTube, where we host a weekly interview show where we interview some of the best wrestlers in the world, such as Vampiro, Nick Aldis, Tim Storm, just to name a few. So if you like wrestling, you like showing off your collection, head on over to Wrestling Review Society and let us introduce ourselves to each other and see your awesome collections, and let's talk about wrestling. Lastly, we do have a Pro Wrestling Tee store that we have just opened where this baby is available, the Wrestle Hub shirt. I don't know why people seem to like that logo, but for some reason, everybody just smile when they
It makes me want to subscribe. It makes me want to subscribe.
They smile when they see it. So, guys, head on over to ProWrestlingTees.com, type in Wrestling Review Society, order the Wrestle Hub shirt, and show us some support, guys. We really do appreciate it. That's all for me. I'm going to send it over to the king of the streets, Mr. Angel Medina.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be one of the co-hosts of this fabulous new show. Hey, I want to thank all the fans out there for supporting us. I am like so speechless, and that's very rare in my neck of the woods that you guys are just supporting us, and Wrestling with Tragedy is blowing up, and the Kingpin Revolution or Kingpin approved revolution is kicking off because everybody's loving this show, and especially with these co-hosts I have here, it's just making it happen. I mean, I'm like, again, I'm speechless, I'm stuttering. I'm how I feel is how Pierce looks. Very hard. No, just kidding. No, but I'm just saying, man, I'm just very honored to have you guys, and we're just making this. All you fans are making this possible.
and leaving it to the best till last. My name is Piers Austin, and I am the host of Shooting the Shit Uncensored, a very similar show to The War Room, which Kevin hosts every Thursday night at 7 p.m. My show, Shooting the Shit Uncensored, I interview people from the world of professional wrestling. Most recently, I just had on one of the most, if not the most controversial figure in professional wrestling, Mr. Vince Russo. I've also had on such superstars such as Leo Rush, Jazzy Gabbett, Thunder Rosa, and Zicky Dice, just to name a few. But I'm really excited to be part of this wonderful show. And as seeing from our first 3 episodes that have dropped over the past 3 weeks and the numbers that we're getting of those views, those likes, those shares, that you guys are really enjoying this and you're really loving what we're putting out with this Wrestling with Tragedy. And we're really enjoying spending the time talking about these tragedies, these scandals, and these dark underbelly secrets that no one wants to know. But we're enjoying getting it all out there. But guys, it's great to see you again.
Well, I'm feeling kind of insulted because I feel that I am the most controversial wrestler out there, and you putting Vince Russo above me is kind of like an empty cup right here.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
I'm
back
sorry.
to you,
To
Kevin.
you.
Back to you, Kevin. Enough. I've spoken.
So now that Angel got his ego out of the way and Piers is putting us all to sleep.
Oh.
We are going to
Wait. Come on now. Come on.
All love,
nice.
man. All love, man. So we're going to go ahead and get started with episode 4, guys. And, our last 3 episodes, we've handled some classics, some old school stuff that has come to light, and we kind of really gave our opinions on it. We came together and we said, you know what, let's capitalize on what's hot right now. Let's capitalize on what's going on in the world right now. So we're going to jump and tackle some current events. And when you think about pro wrestling today, one of the biggest stories to break as of recent is this whole thing with the Velvateen Dream. For those of you who don't know, a little bit of backstory. Velvateen Dream was accused of sending inappropriate pictures to underage women. Now, I understand that people get hacked all the time. I understand that, social media gets hacked, people get your passwords, whatever the case may be. But let's lay out some of the facts really quick. The facts are this, guys. The images were sent through a verified Instagram account, the blue check mark and all. So there's one. The text messages, the private conversations were sent from a Washington, D.C. phone number, Velvateen Dream's hometown. There were numerous conversations between this alleged Velvateen Dream phone number and the other women. Now, the first woman to come out was 17 years of age, and then she also she shed light that he was actually communicating with 2 of her friends, ages 15 and 16. So, as we've said, a lot of the things we cover on the show are alleged. However, there are massive amounts of evidence to point. Now, that's not to say that, it's true or it's not true. I mean, look at OJ. He had evidence and he was innocent. Casey Anthony, she had evidence and she was innocent. But the evidence kind of speaks for itself. Angel, you had time in law enforcement. I've had time in law enforcement. When you have this much evidence, it's really hard to dispute either way. So what I would like to do, you guys have heard me talk enough. I need to take a break. I'm going to send it to Angel. He's going to send it to Piers. Piers is going to send it to me. And we're all really going to break this down and give our opinions on it. So without any further ado, I'm going to send it over to the king of the streets, Angel Medina.
Now, this Velveteen Dream situation is kind of ridiculous where he's trying to say like, hey, my account was hacked. It wasn't me. I have a third party looking into this matter. I mean, with today's type of this world, we could find out where you are pissing at, especially if he did it from his phone with an IP address. They'll definitely find out exactly where he was at when he was doing these things. So I really don't understand why why would he do something like that? He has a promising career in WWE. He is the most, I'm considering him a hot commodity for the company.
Oh, absolutely. He's got a rocket strapped to his back.
I know. And the thing is that, there's so many women out there. There's so many older women that he could have relations with. And again, you should never put your stuff out there, especially on the phone. If he's going to do something like that, he should have had like a, like jokingly a burner phone or something like that. And I'm not putting it out there for you guys to do it. All right. I'm just saying, freaking morons. But anyway, no, because if you put it out there, they'd be like, hey, the Kingpin got a great idea. Let me do this, but it's just, I mean, I just don't understand what goes through people's minds, especially when you have a spot, because even if he's innocent, that's the problem is, even if he's innocent, it's going to affect his push, because Vince is just going to just like, you know what, we don't want no problems. There's going to still
once accused, always suspected.
Yeah. And that's the problem, that he is going to be labeled. So whatever they decided to do with him to push him to the top, I mean, even though he's at there, but even if they even consider him to say like, hey, we have some ideas for once we get him on Raw or SmackDown, we have some future ideas for him to go main event WrestleMania. I mean, I'm just reaching out there, but they have plans. They have ideas for this person months and months and months in the future. And now that he did this, like I said, even if he's innocent, Vince is just gonna just put him in the back burner and just do squash matches and rarely see him on TV. So, I mean, I don't know what he was thinking. I just think now I forgot where does he live at? Florida, correct?
Washington D.C. I have the article pulled up right here.
Okay,
and it says that, as first noted, some claiming to be 17 years old said that they were sent nude photos of the Dream. The Dream also claimed that the photos were real. However, they were sent without his consent, and he has a third party looking into it. The other two involved are ages 15 and 16. Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer Newsletter has confirmed that the number used to send such photos were from Velvateen Dream's actual phone number and area code. There was also a recording that sounded a lot like the Velvateen Dream.
Okay. And so, Pierce, just a quick question. Due to the fact that you live in Australia, if he was an Australian citizen and let's say he was guilty or they're investigating, what is the penalty? Like, what happens in Australia?
Really quick, I just want to make note to one thing.
Okay.
In this article, he does admit, Velvateen Dream does admit that the photos are real. They are of him and they do exist.
Yep.
So let's just keep that part in mind.
Okay, so he's taken the photos, but he's saying that the photos weren't meant for the recipients that received them.
Yes, he said they were sent without his consent.
So who would have access to those type of photos of him of an explicit nature that he would feel comfortable with?
He's going to say he got hacked. That's what he's going to say.
Let's be honest, man. Like look, I'm a married man. Like we're all married men here, right? So we don't. Well, okay,
do not put me in that category, motherfucker.
Shh, she's listening. But but that's the thing. Like you look at it where he's taken the photos. Someone's like posted them. It's gone out. But one thing they haven't shown is what was the conversation leading before the photos were received. Was he aware of and I'm not trying to defend it in any means necessary, but what I'm saying is, was he led to believe they were of legal age? Was that a thing? And like I said, it's, but even then, if you're in the spotlight in that sort of publicity, you're working for WWE, a publicly traded company, you have to be like, you'd have to be skeptical, right? You'd have to be thinking before you send something out like that, is this going to come back and bite me in the ass in a week's time, a year's time, or 10 years time? You know what I mean? And it's proven that. I mean, you look at like in the past where wrestlers' photos were leaked. It's like, there's been Seth Rollins, Charlotte, Tony Storm, what's her name? Tara from TNA, who was Victoria in WWE. All these women have had photos leaked.
Paige.
Paige as well. Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, why don't they?
That wasn't a photo leak. That was an entire album.
That was That was a hot special. But,
Hot special, Tessa Bancher. Thank you for reminding us.
but but that's the thing. Like, number one is like, why, if you're in that spot working for WWE, you've got a rocket strapped to your fucking back, and you're like pretty much one of the top guys in NXT, the hottest brand in WWE. Pardon me.
Absolutely.
Why would you even risk putting yourself out there like that? You know what I mean? Like, especially when you look like the Velveteen Dream, I could probably pull, any woman that he wants to really get.
But the problem is with the Velveteen Dream situation, he has not learned any type of discipline. I mean, put it this ain't the 80s where you can take your Kodak with the little flash on it, take your pictures, go to the nearest Kodak shop and get it developed, and you have it and you can give it to whoever you want. Back in the days, it was totally different. And these guys are doing things that are risking their careers, and then they sit there and go, what did I do? I didn't think I'd do anything wrong. She said she was 18, because that's what he's gonna probably say. Like, unless they have it on the text message saying that, hey, how old are you? Oh, I'm 17 and stuff like that. But if he starts saying like, I didn't know, but again, he already has his defense because he's saying it wasn't him, so he can't backpedal.
But even then, he's sending like. You know what I mean? Like, how, like, he must be an idiot because he's sending, like, all right, let's say that he is sending these photos out. You'd have to be stupid, whether the woman is of legal age or not, because these people can then say, oh, I've got this nude photo of this WWE superstar, and that could be then exposed and then, leading down the track, and then, it can affect his career. Like,
absolutely.
Like, I understand he's young, but
there's things we have to look at that are on both sides of the coin here. And I'm speaking from the aspect of not only a law enforcement officer, but a father and just an overall human being. The things I really want to focus on with this is, so whenever you are a public figure, whenever you are in a spotlight such as Velveteen Dream, this is the closest he's ever been to the NXT championship, setting up for a major feud with current champion Adam Cole. Whenever you have these situations, Pierce, you said a lot of things that I really want to touch on. First of which being, we really need to know the conversation between the two. Not to say it's right or wrong, not to say he did it or didn't do it, but if I am with girl A and I'm sending her these photos and she's sending them back, and it's part of our love life, our sex life, whatever the case may be, and it's consensual between the two of us, now we have a nasty breakup.
Yeah.
Now she has these pictures of me. She has a loaded gun in her pocket to destroy my career, and that loaded gun looks like this.
Yep.
So now keep that in mind. When also, there's so many different apps. There's so many different platforms where you can use a different phone number. I have one, and from a law enforcement perspective, and Angel, you know this just as well as anybody.
Yeah.
The reason cell phone conversations are not admissible in court is because a phone number can be doctored by anybody. You can download an app. You can say, hey, I want it to pop up from, if I download the app right now, I can send Angel a message and it will come from Pierce's phone number. Even though I'm doing it, I will put in the number I want it to come from. I'll put in the number I want it to go to, and it'll look just like that. That's why an investigation has to be done. Another thing we have to look at is, even if it is between these two, even if it is between him and the 17-year-old girl or him and the 15 and 16-year-old girl, what we need to understand is the laws of consent. And what I mean by that is, I can speak for myself in Georgia. In the state of Georgia, if you're below 17, you cannot consent, period. Even if you are 16 years, 364 days old. If you say, yeah, I want the picture, send it to me. By law, she cannot consent. The age of consent is a major factor here. Now, I don't want to take away from what happened. Take the legal part out of it. Take everything I just said out of it. That's the one we have to address both sides. That's the side of the argument Velveteen is making. So he does bring up valid points. However, now let's address the nasty side of it, the bad part of it, the allegation side of it. If this really happened and he really did it, he's a fucking scumbag.
Agreed.
Like you said, he's making more money than he's ever made in his life. He's getting the biggest push he's ever had in his life. He's on the hottest brand for WWE. He can literally walk into any club any bar, any grocery store, and say, yeah, I'm the Velveteen Dream, and like that has any woman he wants. Why the fuck do you need that 17, 16, and 15? Are you afraid you're not going to measure up and you need unexperienced? Like, I don't get what goes through the mind of these people. I really don't. But like I said, these are allegations. I'm not saying he did or he didn't. I'm just here presenting both sides of the coin.
Yeah, I mean, my thought process is, like I said, thank God, me being a celebrity, you know, I mean, I tried to send a dick pic, but the screen went black. So unless I had a fisheye lens, I mean, I just didn't do it. But the thing is, you're absolutely right. He could get any woman on the I mean, not saying on the planet, but he has the one up on everybody. And you know, and now he's just sitting there. You know, I just don't fathom, why would you go with a 17-year-old, 15-year-old? Is it an ego thing? Is it like because they're huge, bigger fans? You know, because they get all giddy and they get all like, "Oh my God, you're the greatest thing on the planet," and stuff like that. And you know, I mean, you're right, man. I mean, I just don't know what the fuck has gone through his mind to put himself out there, especially if he's getting this type of publicity with Vince, and that's the bad publicity. You know, now he's going to get shit on, and that's. I mean, guaranteed. This conversation right here, 6 months from now, we're not going to hear nothing about him, even if it's innocence.
And the fact is that this has happened when it's been not even a full week when they've released over 20 superstars. You know what I mean? And then also, like, you know, X amount of producers and backstage staff. But also look at how many, you know, they haven't even mentioned how many office staff that they've had to probably let go as well. I mean, so, you know what I mean? Like Velveteen Dream, like let's talk numbers. What sort of contract do you think that he would be on? You know what I mean? Like if they've had this scandal come up, it'd be pretty easy to cut that salary down.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, much like we spoke about with the Fabulous Moolah case, you know, they named the Battle Royal after, and then one of their biggest sponsors, being Snickers, said, fuck no, or we go. How many, if this does, whether it's true or not, do you as a corporate sponsor, as a corporate investor, as someone who's tied up so much money and time into this, and let's face it, Velveteen, whether he's the champ or not, is one of the faces of NXT. That is the hottest brand, the brand that everyone's talking about right now. You can argue it if you want. SmackDown and Raw are trash. The saving grace for wrestling fans right now is the NWA Power, AEW, and NXT. That's just my opinion.
Agreed. I flat out. One sec. I flat out agree, but the thing is, with NXT, I think Vince still looks at NXT as development. And the thing is, I probably think he still looks at someone like Velveteen as someone who has a lot of potential, but someone who isn't a star yet. And the thing is, if he sees that this guy is bringing some bad publicity to WWE, Velveteen's Dream's ass is gone, and he'll be fucking straight back down to MLW.
Now the problem is that, remember, this is NXT is Triple H's baby, because Vince doesn't really have nothing to do with it, but he just lets Vince carry the ball. And I would love to hear the conversation, because think about it. Once this can of whoop ass opened up, I would have loved to hear this conversation with Triple H and Velveteen Dream, because the fact is, the news media already reached out to WWE, and they still haven't not made a comment in regards to the situation. So my vision, I could see him like coming in, or even getting a phone call like, "What the fuck did you do?" You know.
Yeah, and see what I was getting at earlier was, I obviously the decision whether to stay or be cut comes down to guys like Vince and Hunter and stuff like that. But the unsung authority of pro wrestling, and Angel, you know this just as much as anybody, are the corporate sponsors, the people who pay to have this done. If you're a big time sponsor and you're sponsoring, you know, 15 million, 20 million, whatever the case may be, and you go, look, I'm one of your biggest backers. I'm not going to back a product where this is front page news. You either get him out of here, or I'm pulling all my money out and we're going to sponsor somebody else. Do you really think he's going to last 2 days after somebody says that? So it's not even, he doesn't even have to plead his case just to WWE. Now, when you're in a publicly traded company, there are so many other hands in that pot who could potentially lead to him being cut, much like Pierce said, in a time where we're seeing release after release after release after release. You really don't want this light shed on you, especially right now.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to happen. I mean, with this situation, first of all, they have to maybe be careful of releasing him, because even if he's innocent and they release him, no, they know the truth. There's something behind the reason they released him. So maybe they're not releasing him because then it shows that they think he's guilty. And then, you know what I mean? Like, it just paints a picture. So they're just trying to play it smooth.
Can anybody say Enzo Amore?
That's what I was going to bring up.
And you know what, Kingpin, I was just going to mention that as well. You look at the Enzo Amore situation. WWE, now, apparently they released him not because of the allegation. They released him because he did not make WWE officials aware of it when he knew about it. And exactly. He got notified by his solicitor that there'd been a police report. He sat on it while his, because it started popping up on Twitter. He called his solicitor started looking into it. The police did not contact him. Once they knew about it, they didn't go straight to WWE. And that's why he got released, because he didn't follow protocol. But the thing was, and I think this is probably what's going to be Velveteen's dream saving grace. Okay. It depends on how he is perceived backstage, because Enzo, we all know about the history and the backstage stories and dramas that were surrounded Enzo prior to his release. We haven't heard that about Velveteen Dream. So that leads me to believe that he's either in very good standing with management, or his heat has been completely kept under the rug. But I think a big part of it depends on how he's perceived backstage by management.
Well, I mean, the Enzo Amore situation, I totally understand that you're saying like he should have went to Vince or Triple H and told them what was going on. But remember, he's a private contractor, and I know he's on the contract, and I don't know what his contract stipulates. If any type of scandal comes up, they need to be aware of it. You know, the Kingpin, myself, I'll be like, it's none of your business unless it's just going to blow up, and then I'll come and tell you. Boy, you want to do some PR, fix the situation before it gets out of hand, and that's why you want to know. Oh, you want to contact the attorney so they can get an upper hand on the situation? I mean, school me. I mean, what do you want to know? I don't even know what's going on. I just know a police report was made. And like I said, and the other thing is that Enzo Amore situation, that is something that they should have just learned from. If I was a Velveteen Dream and go, man, I'm not sending shit out right now. I'm not sending shit out at all because of this Enzo Amore situation or previous, I'm not even a friend of mine sending dick pics to fans, even Seth Rollins. Remember that when he broke up with his girlfriend, like you were just talking about it, saying like, once you break up with the girl and she has that loaded gun in her hand, guess what happened? His dick picture started flowing around, and I seen it, man, and it's not really much to brag about. I mean, but the thing is, it's still a dick.
Fucking hell!
It looked like one of the little African babies with the belly button sticking out. But I was just like, what the hell is this, bro?
No wonder Becky Lynch is always so angry.
I know she is the man. Yeah, it's a nub, man. It looks like a Dunkin' Donuts munchkin, But anyway, but the thing is that these are just, you know what I'm saying? These already happened. I wouldn't not do it because these are things that happened in the past, and look what happened before. So right there, I would have been like, nope. I'll send you a sketch artist. I'll send you a drawing. Something. That is not my artwork.
It's crazy because we see this more and more and more. And like I said earlier, when you're a public figure, you really have to be very careful about what you're putting out in the world. And it's like I said, even if it's a consensual communication between two people, once you burn that bridge, once that person is no longer a fan of you, once you're no longer in a relationship with that person, especially if it's a nasty split or whatever the case may be, that person's got a loaded gun in their hand. We've seen the Seth Rollins pictures, Seth Rollins' ex-girlfriend, the Velveteen Dream. Tessa Blanchard recorded herself taking a shit legit sitting on a toilet, taking a shit because a fan asked her to do it. And
it sounded like a wet deck of cards.
Even if that was what the fan wanted, and she sent it to him.
Wow.
Now that fan this is where leaked photos come from. A consensual encounter that turns into something so much more, so much worse. And when you're put into this major spotlight, you really have to be careful. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a wrestling fan. I truly believe pro wrestling is one of the biggest sports in the world. Reason being, it's weekly episodic TV. It's live TV. There is no off season. It runs round the clock, nonstop, week after week, month after month, year after year, constantly putting new people in the spotlight. You really have to be careful what you're doing. And, you look at these people who are just breaking into the business, or I'm not going to say just breaking into the business, because Seth Rollins had a very good career before WWE. But when he got to the big stage, all that happened. You take a guy like that who just breaks into the big stage, and they're making these slip-ups and they're making these mistakes. But you look at a guy like R-Truth. R-Truth's been with the company since I was a baby. Never once have you heard a bad thing about R-Truth.
That's true. That's true. But
he's very well liked, and I think. But also the difference between R-Truth and Seth Rollins is about 10 to 13 years. You know what I mean?
And I wasn't trying to compare the two. I'm just saying you have people who've been in the business for ages. Never a bad word. But then you get people who get this big head and I'm a damn pussy magnet, or whatever the case may be. I can do whatever I want. I'm untouchable. Well, here's the problem, guys. Everybody is touchable. Everybody is on alert with this. Like, it can happen to anybody. We've seen NBA owners. We've seen NFL owners. We've seen quarterbacks, pro wrestlers. It doesn't matter who you are. Nobody is too big for this stuff to catch up to them, and that's what people really need to understand.
Now, just a quick question: the Tessa Blanchard situation. I remember I'm reading that the guy even wanted her to send him a stool sample. I mean, is that correct? I remember.
Yes.
Yeah. Now I wonder in that situation, if he would have got it, would he like put in a dehydrator just to solidify it, just to make it more
I think there might
presentable?
I think there might be a customs issue there, trying to send that through the. I mean, I guess she could have labeled it as fertilizer.
Or biohazard, something like that. But did she do it? Did she send that type of stool sample?
Cannot be confirmed.
Cannot be confirmed or denied.
What I can say is that, and this is getting a little off topic, but yes, it's a real thing that happened. What I can say is that Tessa Blanchard did record herself taking a shit for a fan. A fan paid her X amount of dollars while she was coming up through the indies to do it and record herself doing it. The fan, then when all this came out, the fan came out and said, "Hey, I'm the fan that she did it for. Here's the video."
Ooh.
Like I said, here's the video. She gave it to me, and now I can show it to everybody. And he did admit that he wanted a sample of it, but I don't think it ever happened.
Dude, I would love to see him just get the package, open it up, pull it out, smell it like a cigar, lick it like a cigar.
Call up his buddies, "Hey, you got to see this shit."
But you know what, this Tessa Blanchard situation. This Tessa Blanchard.
Good shit.
This Tessa Blanchard situation. I'll tell you this though, it really gives new meaning to the phrase "get your shit in."
Oh my Jesus!
I had to go.
Are you shitting me?
So let me
Tessa Blanchard the shits.
Let me throw the line out and reel this back in really quick, because
absolutely.
I mean, we could go on for hours with this one, but just to break up the monotony, because look, nobody wants to sit here and talk about. And I know I keep going back to this, but Angel, you were a cop. You know how uncomfortable these sexual harassment talks are, and sexual assault, and anything to do, any kind of sex crime is really uncomfortable to talk about. Then you throw in a minor, and you throw in a 15-year-old girl and a grown man, and it gets really uncomfortable. So we definitely have to break up the monotony a little bit. But Velvateen Dream isn't the only one of recent memory that this happened with. We've also seen this happen with James Elsworth. Much more believable case with James Elsworth. Not to say, I'm not saying the victims are lying. I'm not saying that at all.
You're just saying James Elsworth is ugly. That's why.
What I'm saying is, you look at Velvateen Dream and you look at James Elsworth, and it's much more believable that James Elsworth has done some stuff like this.
James Elsworth is hard to look at. I would love to see him try to put a pillow in a pillowcase, because that dude does not have a chin.
He's a turtle without a shell.
He'd be trying to put that pillow in the pillowcase like, "Oh, fuck, what the fuck am I doing?"
The thing is with Elsworth, he not only sent photos, but he was actually trying to groom an underage girl for sex.
Yeah.
And that, look, I don't know what, like, I haven't seen any. He was putting in there saying, "So look, come meet me after the show, blah blah blah," and like, I think she said something like, "Oh, I'm 16," and he's like, "Oh, what, you're 19 or something?" Like, like he was trying to change it, but
Bader.
yeah.
As he's playing that song from the 80s, she's only 17.
But no, look, we saw it happen with Elsworth, and obviously we don't know. I think it's still very early days with the Velvateen Dream situation as well. We really need to find out more context behind the communication between the two parties, and that's what's really been kept quiet at this stage. And has there even been it hasn't even been confirmed if there's a police investigation around this yet, has there?
There is.
There's a police investigation.
There's always any type of accusation or any type of thing. They have to look into it, because if they don't, they're held liable. So they have to do some type of investigation.
But much like Piers was saying, I do believe this is far from over. I do believe that more evidence is going to come out, and that's really going to be the telling signs of, whether this really happened or whether it hasn't. Police officers have to maintain an open mind. They have to see both sides of the coin. They have to, they have to be unbiased. They have to completely detach themselves from the situation. And it's really hard, especially, if you're dealing with this case and that officer has a younger daughter or whatever the case may be, it gets really hard to do that. But I do think over the next coming weeks or days, however fast this is progressing, however fast the evidence is coming out, which by the report I'm looking at right now is making it seem like the 17-year-old and her parents are in full cooperation with the local police, which should speed things up a little bit. Over the next couple of days or couple of weeks, we could actually see an arrest made. We could see charges brought, more evidence come to light. We have enough to speculate as of right now. I personally believe there's enough here to actually, not really make an arrest, but to call in for questioning. I think there is enough for that. But I do think over the next coming days and weeks, the evidence that has not come to light, that will come to light, is going to be the deciding factor on whether he did or did not.
Yeah, and also, you got to understand where these kids are from. Meaning, if he's in Washington, also, they have to present it to the judge, and then they got to extradite, and they got to send out a warrant for his arrest, and contact the other local agency to advise him that there's a warrant for his arrest. Or whatever. Or he comes at his free will. So again, he has to take time out of his schedule to go to court, to go make an appearance, or even go get booked or processed. And always got to remember, even if he's innocent, and he gets booked on these charges, that's going to be on his file. Even if he's exonerated, it's going to show a suspect in underage minor case, whatever the classification is for this type of crime.
So what would be the charge, right? If he just went on his Instagram and saw a profile, it had nothing about anyone else's age or anything like that.
Depends on the ordinance and the state statute.
Okay, so I'm just saying, right, he's gone onto social media. This person could be anywhere in the world, doesn't know how old this person is, sends a photo of Little Dream off to this young lady, and then it turns out that she's a minor. What's happened?
It's a sex crime.
But what charge is he going to be charged by?
There's I can only speak for the state of Georgia,
and that's what I'm saying. Depends on the state.
As you know, wherever you go to the police academy wherever you are a police officer at, laws kind of vary due to state laws. But here in Georgia, you would have harassment by telecommunications. You would have distribution of pornography to a minor, solicitation of a minor. And see, the solicitation of a minor doesn't necessarily mean you were soliciting it from them. You could also solicit to them. Right. So there's a solicitation, there's harassment, especially if they were unwanted. But like I said, in Georgia, whether it was wanted or not, under the age of 17, it is not allowed. They cannot consent. So even if you, like I said, 16 years, 364 days old, and she's going, yes, send it to me. I want to see it. Let's go. Send it to me. Send me more. And you're doing it. And your argument is, well, she asked for it. Well, legally, she's not allowed to ask for it. And that is on him to know that. So there's many, many different charges ranging from felony to misdemeanor. Anytime you deal with a sex crime, anytime you deal with any sexual assault, sexual harassment, which is what this would be, it falls under a felony.
Yeah, even like even if she told you she was 18, they still have to file criminal charges, because I knew some guys that got arrested because she told me she was 19, and they go, no, she's 14 or whatever. And then they charged him, and that was his defense, in which it was his defense. Even in the text message, it stated like she lied about her age and stuff like that, and he still got charged for that, even though it was going to fall, it was going to get thrown out from court. But again, you still have to go through the process.
Even though he was falsely led to believe
correct
that this girl was of legal age.
It happened to I'm sorry, it happened to Akon. Remember when
that's exactly what I was just about to say. I know this is about wrestling, but you take a famous rapper, Akon, who hooked up with an underage woman, but he met her at a 21 and older club. So he goes to the club, he meets this girl. Now, you have to show ID to get in. Anybody under the age of 21 is not allowed in. So he meets this girl. They have their intercourse, their altercation, whatever the case may be. He is led to believe that she was in a 21 and older club. She was there. I didn't have to ask her age. She gets ID checked when she comes in the door. So that becomes where does the fault lie?
Correct.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if you're led to believe someone is of legal age and everything like that in that sort of situation, you know what I mean? Like, you're obviously you're led down by false information.
Much harder to make that case when you're doing it through social media, though. And I understand when people set up their profile, they can lie about their age. That's a given. It happens every day. Thousands and thousands upon millions of profiles lie about their age. Mm-hmm. I get it. If you look at my Facebook page, my age says I'm 84 years old because I like to make jokes, whatever. But it happens every single day. Yeah, I do. It's called being in the military. But what you really have to look at is, where does the fault lie here? When you meet a girl in a club where you get ID'd to walk through the door, it's a lot easier to make that case with whether he did or did not know. I'm not here to say that. We're not talking about that right now. But like I said, where does the fault lie? When you go through social media and you're texting back and forth, it's a lot harder to make the case that you did not know.
Yeah, I think as well, that it comes down to, once you probably speak to someone, if someone's not overage, you know what I mean? Like, if someone's underage, just with the way that they interact with you, how they speak, how they type, how they, you know what I mean? Like, that interaction. Like, I've got cousins that are teenagers, and when I text them or get text from them, it's, you know what I mean? Like, they text different to the way that an adult would,
Look, man, if her shoes are still lighting up, she's too young for you, bro.
Come on, man. Hey, bro, I ain't Velvateen Green, man. I'm a happily married man with children, bro.
I wasn't talking about you. You said meeting in person. I was making a joke.
See the guilt. The sweat beads are in his forehead. But Pierce, quick question. No. I mean, due to the fact that you live in Australia, how would this? Let's say he was an Australian wrestler that worked for WWE. How would this be handled in an Australian court, or the magistrate, whatever you guys call it?
Well, we'd have to go in front of a kangaroo and a panel of koalas.
Aborigines with white wigs.
No, look, how it would go here, like Australia's laws and some of the judge and jury callings in Australia around situations like this just would make you go, what in the fuck? Like, no kidding, but it could go either way. The person would probably do 3 to 5 years in jail.
Okay.
Potentially, depending on the evidence.
Well, and the only reason,
and it would depend on the communication beforehand, what he was led to believe, the information that he had available to him. But it all depends. But I think the Australian judicial system and the Australian court system, when it comes to this stuff, they're too soft.
Okay.
And it also depends if they could claim that the person, were they of sound mind.
If you're going to do dumb shit, if you're going to send these photos of yourself out there, if you're going to do stuff like that, I mean, there's one easy tall tale way, never fails. It has a 100% success rate. And they teach you this in the police academy. And it's the most valuable piece of knowledge I could ever give a man or a woman who plans on doing something like this. If you want to know if somebody is of age, don't look at their ID, don't look at their social media, don't ask them. If you want to know how old somebody is, and you want a 100% guarantee this is not going to come back to bite you, if you want to know if a girl is old enough, ask her father.
Mm-hmm.
And if he blows the fuck up, you might want to back the fuck up.
Exactly.
Yeah, but how many people are gonna go to somebody's house and go,
It's a joke, Angel.
Mr. I know, but I'm just saying, Mr. Smith, hi, I'm Velvateen Dream, WWE superstar from NXT. I sent some pictures to your daughter. I just want to make sure that she's under what shotgun click. Power on his mouth.
Not even this is like this. Brrr. Yeah, hello. Yeah, hi. This is the Velveteen Dream. Yeah, your daughter. Yeah, Julie. Yeah, right. Yeah, her Instagram photo, the one with the big tits. Yeah. How old is she? She's over 18. All right, cool. One sec. All right, man. Thanks very much, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
the bad part is that's probably one of the funniest segments we've had on this show, and we convert it to the audio. No one's ever going to get that joke.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. But yeah, I mean, like I said, Velveteen Dream, I mean, to me, my honest opinion is WWE is just kind of like waiting and they're getting their attorneys involved, and eventually he'll be let go. And again, they're not going to let him go now because they're going to be like, you're already judging me. You don't even know I'm innocent or guilty, and you're just ready to throw me to the wolves. And it might come back as a legal issue for them too, meaning if he gets let go and then he's found innocent or it's all fabrication, then he's going to be like, I'm going to sue you because you just fired me on false pretenses,
But it's not that they can't come at him for that because he's a contractor and they cancelled his contract, and there is a clause in the contract which would state that if you bring WWE into disrepute in any way or could do damage WWE's brand in any way, we have the right to terminate your contract.
But there's a much easier solution to it. There's a much easier solution, and it's simply this: suspended pending investigation.
That's true.
Done.
And I think as well, there'll be a WWE investigation. There's a police investigation going into it. Depending on what comes from the police investigation, will obviously lead to what WWE's decision will be with Velveteen Dream. What we could see happen, which would be that he would get released for a short amount of time, come back in 3 to 6 months, when it all goes back under. And we've seen that happen before.
Oh, you hear his pun? Go back under. He has to use that Australian lingo gimmick. Yeah, don't try to sell Australia to us, buddy. Anyway, but you're right. I agree with you. But the thing is this: that the Velveteen Dream should have just. I mean, again, the guy. I hate saying that he's not smart, man. I mean, yeah. If any wrestler out there, I'm just gonna give you advice. If you make it to WWE, this is my opinion: sit there, get a book or an audiobook, and don't do shit and make your money and be good. That's the key thing, man. You just got to sit there, read a book, and shut the fuck up and don't get into trouble. And they will love you for it. Like I said, look at R-Truth, man. No trouble. He's been working there since, and he's still there. Meaning that, I was expecting him to be let go, and he's just kicking it.
He's got a job for life there, I think.
How many years he's been there already?
He's been there on and off
for over 20 years.
Yeah. Like he went to TNA for a while.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, but yeah,
but even in TNA, you never heard a bad thing about him.
No, he did some of his best work there. But anyway, we're getting off topic. But it's interesting because and not to get too far off topic, but here in Australia we have rugby league, and rugby league's a game played in a few countries around the world, and it's a very big sport here in Australia. And quite often, rugby league stars get in this sort of trouble, whether it be with domestic violence, whether it be this sort of thing as well. Sometimes happen, getting drunk out in public and disorderly. And, these guys as well, and it's very much similar to WWE. When these things happen, they kind of just go, see ya, and push him out of the plane. And they're kind of left to defend themselves. And, we see it here quite a fair bit in Australia with our rugby league players, where these guys are around the same age as Velveteen Dream. These guys are young guys getting paid big money. And how much training goes into these WWE superstars. about social media, about protecting their brand. It's the same with these rugby league players here. Like there's not much investing into them to protect them long term, to protect them about invest in property, invest their money wisely, that sort of thing. And is that something that Angel, you've been in the world of professional wrestling, is that something that WWE should be looking to do for their talent, or is this something that these are life skills that the talent should be learning from their family or whatever?
Well, it's almost like the NFL. I mean, they even doing people how to manage their money and stuff like that, and so they won't go broke after their career is over. So yeah, you're absolutely right. They should teach these guys how to protect their brand, not to the do's and not. I mean, it's stupid. It's common sense, but they should have like some type of class that says these are the do's and don'ts on social media that we will not approve or approve. We will approve or won't approve, and then it takes them off the like liability thing. Like, hey, we taught him, we showed him what not to do, and this is the reason why he got let go, because he violated the teachings or whatever you want to call it. I mean,
sensitivity training.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, that's something that I'd like to see, or I'd wonder if it's actually happening there in NXT. If it is happening in there in NXT, and someone like Velvateen Dream is doing this, and if he's knowing that they're underage girls, is he doing it for a power trip? Is he doing it because he wants that added, like someone looking at him like he's on, like a god or on a pedestal or something like that? Or is it that he's completely claiming innocence and the girl claimed to be of legal age?
Well, I mean, it's hard to, again, that is a hard thing to figure out what was in his mind. Again, he's going to deny it until he's finally caught. I mean, if he is guilty.
But that's the thing, we're all men. When that dick gets hard, this brain stops working for a little bit.
Well, get some smelling sauce and wake that brain up and stuff, because hey, once it fucks with your money, you should be thinking way ahead of the game, man. I mean, but he's young. He's young. He's stupid, and I'm not using that as his defense. But now that I bet you he's shaking. He's shaking right now because he fucked up.
But can he come back from this, Angel?
I don't know, man. That's hard. It's hard to say. No pun intended. It's a hard situation to see if he comes back. Because I mean, look at Elsworth. Look at
All right, let me put it to you like this: if he's found not guilty, okay, and it's found out that he's hacked, is there a way he can come back from this and build his reputation back? Or do you think that it's already going to be too tarnished and WWE will have to release him for a period of time?
I think professionally he'll be fine. He might want to take a little bit of time, step away and come back, kind of let the storm die down. I think professionally he'll be good, but it's like we said earlier, and Angel, once again, not trying to go back to law enforcement or anything, but it's kind of hard to, because it's kind of bred into our minds. But it's like I said earlier, America is founded on innocent until proven guilty. That's not the case anymore. Like it or not, guys, as people, we are now guilty until proven innocent. It is up to us to prove our innocence. And even after you do, and I'm speaking from experience, you two know my story. Mm-hmm. I was arrested on a crime I did not commit. I had dead set proof I did not commit that crime. And it was thrown out. I was exonerated from everything. I'm a free, innocent man. I wasn't even found not guilty because it never made it to court. The DA took one look at it and said, fuck no, threw it out, and all my charges were dropped. And I really didn't do it. However, I'm speaking from experience when I say this. Once accused, always, always, always suspected.
Yeah.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. No, but I agree. But like I said before, a buddy of mine has that on his record as a suspect in a rape case, and it was false. When he went for a job and they did a background check, they saw that. And even if though he didn't get the job, and in his thought process, he didn't get the job because of that, they told him no, they were just better candidates. It affects you.
Absolutely. I like I said, I'm a police officer. This is my life's work. This is my passion. It's what I love doing. And when I had to sit down for my interview, it popped up on my background check, even though I was exonerated, even though I was found not guilty, even though it was proven that it wasn't me, even though I did nothing wrong. Whenever I apply for a job, I have to carry a stack of paperwork about that thick. And it's basically court documents saying he didn't do it. The arresting officer made a mistake. He did nothing wrong. He's innocent of all these charges. This shouldn't even be on there. And I'm going through the process of getting it expunged. But even once it's expunged, you still have to carry around the paperwork saying it was expunged.
And
once
also,
this happens, you are fucked.
And the funny part is that even when you do something like that and give them the paperwork and you have that big stack of paper in front of you and you
They
give it
don't care.
They say,
Yeah.
well, can you elaborate on this? Can you tell us what happened? They still want to hear you reiterate that story and stuff, even though they have the documents in front of them.
An interview which normally takes about 15 to 20 minutes, my interview took 2.5 hours.
Jesus. That's the same here in Australia. Like if you're convicted of like a serious crime, like grievous bodily harm or like illegal firearm possession or something like that, even if it's past 10 years, you can still be it still remains on your record. So in Australia, you have you could do jail time, but as soon as it's past 10 years, it's you know what I mean? You're then past, okay, you've rehabilitated and everything like that, but it's 10 years past the time you were released, if that makes sense. So, it's very similar here, but it stays on your record, especially those big serious crimes. And you definitely put in there rape and soliciting underage sex from minors as some very serious charges.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, this is just something that might affect him on his push in WWE. It might put him on the back burners for a while. And he'll be sitting in the back watching the monitor, watching other people push up on the ladder of success. And then he gets his push again. But again, these are all speculatory, off the top of my head. I don't know what they're going to do with him, but I know knowing Vince, he'll just put him on hold.
So, guys, we kind of hit everything on this topic. We're approaching that 1 hour mark. Is there anything else that hasn't been said? Before I wrap things up, I'd really like to give you guys the time to speak your piece. Is there anything that hasn't been said that you guys would like to take a chance to say before I wrap things up?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you need a beard trim. This is a disgrace that you're on the air with this raggedy beard. And Pierce is on point.
Bro, my lines are clean, homie.
No, I don't have nothing to say, man. I think this is a great topic. There's so much in this rabbit hole that we can go deeper in. But again, we only have 1 hour, and I see Pierce is yawning. So we definitely need to.
Yawning. I'm not yawning at all, bro.
You're holding it in. I see it. Your cheeks are puffing.
No,
anyway.
I was just holding in a burp.
Okay. So, anyway, no, nothing for me, man. What about you, Pierce? Down there.
Look, as I said earlier, I think that a lot of this, there's going to be more information coming out in the coming weeks. I think that, it's probably going to lead to a release for Velvateen Dream, but I think the release will probably be for about 6 to 12 months, and then he'll come back. That's the way I see it playing out.
Kevin?
No, I'm just so in closing, guys, once again, these are allegations. This is what somebody said. We're giving our opinion on it. We are not saying he's guilty, not guilty, or anything in between. These are strictly allegations that we are giving our opinions on. The facts that are known as of now is that from Velvateen Dream's verified Instagram account, and it says in parentheses with blue check mark, that nude photos were sent to a 17-year-old girl. The 17-year-old girl then claimed that 2 of her friends also received these photos, the ages of these girls being 15 and 16. There were also text message conversations from what is confirmed as Velvateen Dream's personal cell phone number with Washington, D.C. area code. Velvateen Dream releases a statement saying that the photos do exist. The photos were taken, but they were sent without his consent. Keyword being without. Velvateen Dream states that the photos were sent without his consent, and he has hired a third-party investigation group to look into this matter. So, those are the facts as we know them right now. Once again, I can't stress this enough. We are not judge, jury, or executioner. These are strictly allegations. that we just happen to give our opinions on. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode 4 of Wrestling with Tragedy. We'll be back next week with episode 5, and we will be discussing the outrageous number of injuries solely dished out by
Relax.
one Nia Jax.
Relax,
and I'm trying
Kevin.
to save it
Calm
all in for
down,
next
calm
week.
down, bro. Calm down.
You guys know my
Breathe.
feelings on this, so we're going to get to that next week.
Do
So what
eucalyptus. It's very soothing.
So what we're going to do now is we are all going to say our goodbyes and salutations. Angel, take it away.
Hey, again, I want to thank everybody for being on episode 4 with us. I am so proud again with these two gentlemen with me. And hey, this is the Kingpin. This is Kingpin approved. And Pierce, it's on you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. As I said earlier, I am Piers Austin, the host of Shooting the Shit Uncensored, and I am so privileged and honored to be a part of Wrestling with Tragedy with two of my very, very close friends, Kevin and the Kingpin. And I'm glad you guys have been enjoying our series. And episode 4, we're covering off with Velvateen Dream. Thank you very much for supporting and watching us, guys. And I'm going to pass it up to my big bro, Kevin, to bring us home.
Oh, Kev, before we let you do this, Pierce, why do you always lean up? You know there's phone books for that if you need to get closer to the mic. And back to you, Kevin.
Guys, thank you so much for watching episode 4. We will be back next week with episode 5. Really quick, guys, like I said in the beginning, I also run Wrestling Review Society on Facebook and YouTube, and we just released our Pro Wrestling Tees store. We are trying to get our first 25 shirts sold. We are right at 19 or 20 shirts. And you go to ProWrestlingTees.com, type in Wrestling Review Society, and you can own this bad boy. But just to let you guys know, if you order that shirt, you'll be in a random drawing to win one of these amazing custom cups. It doesn't have to be this one. It can be anything you want. Heavy duty, keep your hot drinks hot, your cold drinks cold, perfect all year round. So get your Wrestling Hub shirt, get entered in the drawing for a free cup that you can put absolutely anything you want on. We ship
That's
it,
awesome.
We pay shipping, we pay everything. It costs you nothing. A $60 value, guys. Yours absolutely free.
And
anything,
anything.
The Wrestling Hub shirt. Absolutely anything.
That's awesome.
I'm in that drawing, man. I bought my shirt the other day, Kevin. I'm excited. I'm excited to get that one, and you know we definitely want to promote that over on Multi-Continental Wrestling Alliance as well, Kevin. So please,
definitely got to get one.
Yeah, make sure you please promote that over there as well, Kevin. So our members over there in Multi-Continental Wrestling Alliance can get on board and support the wonderful program that is the War Room.
Absolutely. With that being said, guys, we will see you next week with another episode. Thank you for watching, and we'll be seeing you really, really soon.
Take care.